don't have any hobbies, actually. This isn't a hobby. This consumes my entire life. A hobby is something you do on the side. This is not a side project. I'd say eating is my hobby.
I'm loading up my clip, got a plan for tonight. A dog in my hand, in my pocket is a knife.
What's up, guys? I want to do a quick video. I need to start going through some of the handheld radios that I have and doing some demos on them. You know, I've talked a lot about like GMRS and ham and some other things, and I have a collection of handheld radios. And one that I have here today, I wanted to kind of give a show of. It's a DMR radio. Now, I don't really do DMR, but I got my hands on these, and they're technically for me and a buddy. I got them technically because I had some misunderstandings about what this radio can do. So this radio is advertised, and you look online, you look on Amazon, it shows a Bluetooth logo, shows quite a few things that are not true about this radio. Now, if you are a DMR person, I think these things are great. I know what DMR is. I understand how it works. I know how to program it. I have programmed this a digital channel on here just to test it out, and I'll show you that in a minute. But as far as any of the texting and the messaging capabilities that are on this radio, it is only DMR. Now, what can I say about the radio is it looks amazing. It's got a good display. It's fairly simple to, try to get that in there, fairly simple to program. Tell you what, let me turn the camera around. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, my phone stopped recording. But yeah, good looking radios, good basics. You can go into the menus. When you're in analog mode, this is all you get. This is your menu. You can go to settings, and that is basically it. You get your basic radio settings. Now, when I go to, I just set up a digital just for the sake of demo. There we go. When I go into digital, you see now I have a lot more options. Now we have, GMRS. If you were using this for a GMRS radio, GMRS has plenty of options on sharing packeted data in analog mode, and so does ham radio. So I don't understand why it's digital only. It makes no sense to me. A little upset over that. So here's your APRS settings. You can set up your report type, APRS information, your beaconing, all the APRS stuff, but it's just an analog beaconer. It doesn't do anything else, and it beacons out to the other radios, and there's no portal to view it. When I look at a BTECH like a BTECH UV Pro, like, man, this radio is a dinosaur compared to that, because it does all that over analog. I don't understand why that's locked out on the Baofeng on the DM32 to do the messaging. So when you're in digital mode, you set up your talk groups. Uh, Compared to a UV Pro, which I'll show you later in another video, um, let's just, I did some of this for demo purposes, right? And say that, and I'm gonna send, search contact, I'm gonna send it to this group. And, well, see if it pops up. There you go, message received, right? So this is just demo purposes only. But yeah, but that it's only in that digital mode. And now obviously this is like a GMRS. I was actually testing to see if on the GMRS radios, my battery's about dead. On my GMRS radios, would they pick up these messages? And they do not. They don't pick up the GPS beaconing. They don't pick up anything. Like none of this works. It's only DMR. And like I said, once you get off of a digital channel, that's basically it. You lose all that functionality, and it's just a basic radio. Let me hit back here. I did this for link timeout. So when you're calling one another, I'll do that. It obviously this radio shows up. It's who it is. So I just to show you, but for a DMR radio, it's great if you're doing DMR only. For an analog, it's just a basic analog radio. Now I will say form factor, love it. I'm gonna go back and look at the UV32 maybe. I'm looking for cheaper alternatives. I would love to figure out, something like a UV Pro, another, a simpler radio that actually beacons its GPS signal that the UV Pro would actually identify with. I don't know if that's possible, but I mean, I don't understand why some of these radio manufacturers don't just standardize and get together. I mean, even Baofeng and BTECH, right? It would behoove them to make their radios GPS beacon analog with each other. If you're gonna do a run of DMR, do a run of DMR, but don't put all this functionality into a radio. Hey, when you're in analog mode, it's useless. So I don't know. I've got a bad taste in my mouth, and this is for someone who, to spend out of their pocket, this is quite a bit of money right here in two radios that to me is relatively useless, other than the fact that they do have some pretty amazing range. And but I haven't seen more power than say my TID radio H8. All things equal, antennas swapping, using the same antenna from one to the other, range seems exactly the same on the H8. It's a much smaller form factor. It's a basic radio, costs half the price. So, and you have, with that one, at least you have Bluetooth programming functionality. So I don't have Bluetooth on these. They advertise Bluetooth on the DMRs. It is not Bluetooth. I've not seen Bluetooth. I've not seen any firmware for Bluetooth. So I have no idea. To me, though, these are just two bricky, cool looking radios. And that's it. And you get these sleeves. I had some high hopes for these, but it's kind of a pain. I'm kind of a little disheartened, a little disappointed. Like I said, though, if you are into DMR and you only do DMR, these are great. I think they're cool radios. I think for DMR functionality, best that I've ever touched it and used it. These do all the things. But with all these other radios out here with the app functionality for the programming, I had to download a specific, a very proprietary application to program these radios. It is not super intuitive, I would say, unless you're a DMR person. You're used to putting code plugs in and all that. It's easy for you. I I figured it out. But yeah. So there's my 2 bits. Great radios for DMR. Great analog only basic radios for the price. I think that's a little bit overkill. If you're not into DMR, go toward the UV32 if you're wanting this form factor. Obviously you lose out on some aesthetics, some the font on the DMR. It's just, I don't know, it's just a better font altogether. That kind of drew me to it. I just assumed that the GPS and at least the GPS functionality would transfer over to the analog side. So there's my 2 bits, DM32. I can take it or leave it. Hopefully I can recover, maybe swap these for something else later. Somebody who does DMR. But all right, guys, there it is. Talk to you soon.